So we'll just be building on our previous segment that we just left off. So we went over terms in that one, and in this one we will be going over some of the federally and provincially sponsored government plans that are out there, because we will be looking at this in ethics and in the upcoming modules as well, right? So that's what we will be working on for this segment. So I'm going to start off with the federal plans that we have, and what are these plans? What is their purpose? What do they really do? So these are the plans that are there to help give some sort of sponsorship to the citizens. So federally sponsored plans are the ones that apply all over Canada, whether you are in Ontario, BC, Manitoba. These are the plans that are the same. So they have the same qualifications and the same sort of benefit programs. When we look at provincial plans, obviously those are the ones that differ province to province, right? And because we are in Ontario, I will focus on the ones for Ontario. The book does have all of the provincial plans, so if you are interested in learning more about the different provinces and what kind of plans and strategies they have, you can definitely follow up and go ahead and refer to the book for that as well. All right, so we're going to be looking at 3 federal plans here in this segment. So the first one that we are going to be looking at is the CPP, which stands for Canada Pension Plan, and some of you probably already very familiar with these plans, but we do need to revise them for our segment here now. So CPP, and also we're going to be adding disability here as well. We'll come back to these plans again once when we look at accident and sickness, or second module. So it'll be a quick refresher, and in our third module for life insurance as well. All right, so CPP, the first one that we have, what this gives us, it is employee plus employer funded. So what does this mean? This means that you have to actually be working in order to qualify for CPP. Doesn't matter how long you could have worked for 1 year, then obviously you would get a very small portion. Compared to someone who's worked for 40 years, they would have like a bigger pool that they have built, right? But if somebody has not worked at all, they have lived in Canada, let's say they've been a homemaker and have been busy with that, but they've never worked, they will not be eligible for CPP, right? So that is important, that it is something that you have to actually put money in order to get money out. And because it's employer and employee funded, if somebody is self-employed and they're not contributing to the CPP, again, they will not be eligible for the CPP as well. So this is important, that it is something that you do have to be putting money in. It's not a government sort of a funding that is taking place. It is taxable, as with majority of the government plans. So when you receive the benefit, it is a taxable benefit. It's not tax-free. And you can start between ages 60 to 70. So ideal age is 65. If you start earlier, there is a reduction, and we will go over that reduction in upcoming modules, but you do lose. So if you start early at age 60, you're actually losing a certain percentage per month. And if you start at age 70, you gain. So every year after 65 that you delay your benefits, you're actually gaining per month. So the idea is, obviously the government wants you to work if you're able to work longer. And if you start early, for each month that you start before you're 65, you're losing a certain percentage, right? So that is something to keep in mind. And 65, you get whatever you are entitled to. So there's no sort of addition or subtraction after that. The second one, still federally sponsored, is the OAS, which is your old age security, and GIS, which stands for Guaranteed Income Supplement. Now, what's important about these two is that they do come together. You cannot get the GIS if you're not qualified for the OAS. So it's like a packaged sort of a benefit that you either qualify or you don't for both of them, right? So you do have to be qualified. And for this one, this is now based on residency and age. So this is something that was based on if you've worked and if you've put money in. So this is not the government's money. This is your money and your employer's money that you have put in over the years. This, however, is non-contributory. What do we mean by that? That means that do not have to put money into this to actually get money out. All it's based on is residency and age. Okay, so what do we mean? Age, you have to be a minimum 65 years of age in order to qualify for the old age security. So you will not be able to start this like earlier if as opposed to the other one. So you have to be at least 65 years of age, and also you have to be 10 years minimum in Canada. So that's your residency requirement. So if somebody is coming to Canada when they're 70 years old, even though they meet the age requirement, but they've just arrived, so they have to wait 10 years in order to start the old age security and the GIS. So that is something that is important as well. All right, perfect. So, and OAS is taxable. GIS isn't a supplement, so it's a supplement that you get on top, and this is non-taxable. All right. Okay, perfect. And then the third one is EI, which again, a lot of people are probably very familiar with. So this stands for employer's insurance, employment insurance, sorry. And this can kind of contribute to a lot of different things. EI can be used for job loss. As with the COVID pandemic, many people are using this because they've been laid off or some sort of loss that has occurred without a fault of their own. So they haven't been fired, but something has happened. It can be used for maternity/paternity benefits as well. So if somebody is taking a mat leave, new baby, they can use those EI benefits. With EI, you have to contribute. So it is contributory, unlike OAS. This is not, government is not just giving it to you, you have to put money in. And you're not eligible for this if you're self-employed because you're not putting money in, right? So at the end of the day, this is more ideal for somebody who is employed. They're putting money in every month into their EI, and then they are eligible to use that money at the end as well. And it is taxable. Right, so this is a taxable benefit. It's not something that you're going to get without any tax. And for we'll just put it in here. There's only one provincial one that we're going to discuss today, which is workers' compensation. Now, this is the Ontario one. Like I said, there are others that are there in other provinces. They have different names, but for Ontario purposes, it is known as workers' compensation. And what this covers is if there's any injury on the job or because of the job. So what do we mean? So if somebody is injured at their workplace, so if they, for example, are as a mechanic and something falls and like they're under a car, for example, and that falls and they're injured, workers' compensation will cover them. And because of the job, so this is now because jobs are changing nowadays. Let's say if somebody's working where they're exposed to chemicals, even though they didn't directly occur the injury, but because of the overexposure to those chemicals, they have some sort of injury, they would be covered, right? But the moment you step out and it's not connected to the work, it's no longer a coverage that would apply, right? So this benefit applies if the injury takes place because of the job or on the job. So that is where that would come in. And it is funded by the employer contributions. So it's not something that you are not putting money in to this every single month in order to get money out. It is employer funded, so non-contributory for the employee. All right, so these are the key different government plans that we have, and you will see them again, like I said, in accident and sickness. And as we look at life insurance, we talk about these plans again, but I did want to introduce them because there are some questions on the exam for ethics that will come up as well. So at least this gives you a little bit of a blur in terms of what plans are there. All right, and then we'll continue on with our next segment.